Hello, everyone, and welcome back to EasyTalk English. Wherever you are right now, maybe at home, on a bus, or walking outside, I'm really glad you're here. Before we start, I want to ask you something simple. How are you feeling today? Not your grammar level, not your vocabulary, but your heart and your energy.
That question is more important than people think, because sometimes we open an English lesson, but inside we feel tired, confused, or even a little disappointed in ourselves. And I want to be honest today. When my mindset is bad, my English feels worse.
That is such a powerful sentence. Say it again slowly.
When my mindset is bad, my English feels worse. I've noticed that on days when I think I'm not good enough, I suddenly forget simple words. But on days when I tell myself, it's okay, I'm learning, I speak more freely.
And that shows something very important. The problem is often not grammar. It's not vocabulary. It's the voice in your head.
Exactly. Many learners believe they need more words, more rules, more practice. And yes, practice helps. But sometimes what they really need is kinder self-talk.
Because the way you think changes the way you speak. If you think, I always make mistakes, your body becomes tense, your voice becomes small. But if you think, mistakes are normal, your shoulders relax and your words come out more naturally.
I've seen this so many times. Two students at the same level, same vocabulary, same grammar. One says, this is hard, but I'll try. The other says, I'm bad at this. And after a few months, their progress looks completely different.
That's why today we're not talking about grammar rules or complicated vocabulary. We're talking about mindset. We're going to learn how to speak about your mindset in simple English that you can use in real conversations.
And if you sometimes doubt yourself, if you compare yourself to other learners, or if you feel shy when speaking, please know something important. Almost every English learner feels that way at some point.
Yes, doubt is normal. Frustration is normal. Even feeling stuck is normal. What matters is how you talk to yourself in those moments.
So in today's episode, we'll help you express your thoughts about mindset using clear, simple English. No pressure, no big words, just honest sentences that can slowly change how you feel when you speak.
Because when your mindset becomes calmer and kinder, your English becomes calmer and clearer too. And that change doesn't start with new vocabulary. It starts with new thoughts. So let's slow down and answer a simple question. What is mindset? Many people hear this word and think it sounds complicated, but actually it's very simple. Mindset is your attitude, your reaction, and the voice inside your head.
Yes, I like that definition. It's not about being perfect or always smiling. It's about how you react when something goes wrong and what you say to yourself in difficult moments.
Exactly. For example, imagine you make a mistake while speaking English. One mindset says, I'm terrible at this. Another mindset says, okay, I made a mistake, but I can improve. Same situation, different reaction.
That's why mindset is so powerful. It changes the meaning of the same experience. When I started learning another language, I used to feel embarrassed every time I said something wrong. My inner voice was very critical.
And what did that voice say?
It said things like, you should be better by now, or why can't you remember simple words? That mindset made learning feel heavy and stressful.
That's very honest, and many learners feel the same way. Now, let's talk about some simple positive mindset sentences you can use in English. For example, I try to stay positive. That sentence doesn't say life is perfect. It just says you are trying.
I like that word try because it shows effort, not pressure. Another strong sentence is, I don't give up easily. That shows determination, even if things are difficult.
Yes, and here's another one that I love. I believe I can improve. It's simple English, but the meaning is deep. When you say that sentence, you give yourself permission to grow.
Now let's be realistic. Mindset is not always positive. We all have bad days. Sometimes your inner voice is not kind at all.
That's true. For example, you might say, I overthink. That is very common. Or, I worry too much. These are honest sentences, and it's okay to say them.
Yes, and sometimes I say I doubt myself. That sentence feels very real, especially when I compare myself to others or when I feel stuck.
And here is something important. Having negative thoughts does not mean you have a bad mindset forever. It just means you are human. The key is what you do after those thoughts appear.
Exactly. On my bad days, I try to notice my thoughts instead of believing all of them. If I think I'm not good enough, I stop and ask myself, is that really true?
That is such a healthy habit because mindset is not about being happy all the time. It's about how you respond to difficulty.
Yes, and sometimes responding well just means saying, today is hard, but I will keep going. That sentence doesn't ignore the problem. It simply chooses persistence.
So remember this. Mindset is your attitude, your reaction, and your inner voice. It can be positive or negative, but you can slowly train it.
And when you train your mindset, you also change your English experience. Because if your inner voice becomes kinder, your speaking becomes lighter.
That's the real meaning of mindset in simple English. It's not about always feeling strong. It's about choosing how you respond when things feel hard. Now, let's talk about something very important in English learning, growth mindset. You may have heard this term before, but we'll explain it in a very simple way. A fixed mindset says, this is who I am and I can't change. A growth mindset says, I can learn, improve, and grow.
Yes, and this difference sounds small, but it changes everything. If someone has a fixed mindset, they might say, my English is bad. That sentence feels final, like there is no future change.
Exactly. But with a growth mindset, the sentence changes slightly. Instead of my English is bad, you say my English is improving. The grammar is simple, but the meaning is completely different.
I love that shift. It doesn't say you are perfect, it just says you're moving forward. Another example is, I can't speak English. That sounds like a closed door.
And the growth version is I'm learning to speak English. Now the door is open. You are not there yet, but you are on the way.
When I was learning English, I had many moments of frustration. I remember once I tried to explain something in class and I couldn't find the right words. I felt embarrassed and thought, maybe I'm just not good at languages.
That sounds painful. What happened next?
Honestly, I wanted to quit. I felt tired and disappointed in myself. But then my teacher said something simple. You're not bad at English. You're in the process of learning. That sentence stayed with me.
That is such a powerful shift. Instead of judging who you are, you describe where you are in the journey.
Yes. And from that moment, I started changing my sentences. Instead of saying, I'm terrible at speaking, I said, speaking is difficult for me right now. That small word, right now, gave me hope.
Let's also talk about mistakes, because many learners fear them deeply. A fixed mindset says, mistakes mean I'm not good. A growth mindset says, mistakes help me learn.
That sentence is so important. Mistakes help me learn. It changes fear into opportunity. And another useful sentence is, I see mistakes as lessons. That is very natural English and very strong.
When you see mistakes as lessons, you stop feeling ashamed. You start feeling curious. You ask yourself, what can I learn from this?
And here is the key insight. Growth mindset is not just about positive thinking. It is about identity. If you say, I am bad at English, that becomes part of who you believe you are.
But if you say, I am an English learner, or I am becoming more confident, your identity changes. And when identity changes, confidence slowly follows.
Yes, identity shift changes confidence. When I started saying, I'm someone who keeps trying, I felt stronger. Not because my English was perfect, but because my mindset was different.
So today we invite you to notice your sentences. When you talk about your English, what words do you use? Do they close doors or open them?
Because sometimes confidence doesn't start with grammar practice. It starts with one simple sentence. I'm still learning, and that's okay.
Now let's bring everything into real life, because mindset is not only a theory. It shows up in your mornings, at work, in small daily conversations. And the good news is, you don't need difficult vocabulary to talk about it.
Yes, simple English can express deep thoughts. For example, let's talk about morning mindset. Many people wake up and immediately feel stress about the day.
That's very common. So instead of saying, my day will be terrible, you can say, I try to start my day calmly. That sentence is simple, but it changes the energy of your morning.
I like that one. Another good sentence is, I take a few minutes for myself in the morning. It doesn't need to be long or complicated. It just shows intention.
Now let's move to work mindset, because many learners use English at work. When something goes wrong, you can say, I focus on solutions. That sentence sounds mature and professional.
Yes, and instead of saying, this is a disaster, you can say, I try not to stress too much. That shows emotional control without pretending everything is easy.
Exactly. Mindset English is about honesty with balance. You don't say life is perfect. You say, it's difficult, but I'm handling it.
Let's also talk about stress and emotions, because they are part of daily life. A very natural sentence is, I get frustrated sometimes. That is honest and human.
Yes, and you can continue with, but I take things one step at a time. That second part changes the feeling of the whole sentence.
I really like that phrase, one step at a time. It sounds calm. It shows patience.
Let's practice a small real-life dialogue so our listeners can see how this works in conversation. I'll start.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, Alex, you look a little tired today. Is everything okay?
Yes, I'm just a bit stressed. I have many tasks this week, but I'm trying to stay organized and focus on one thing at a time.
That sounds healthy. I also get stressed sometimes, but I try not to overthink and I remind myself that I can handle it.
Exactly. And when I feel frustrated, I take a short break instead of giving up. That helps me reset my mindset.
See how simple those sentences are? None of them use complicated grammar, but they express emotions, stress, effort, and balance.
And that's the important insight today. You don't need advanced English to talk about deep ideas. You just need honest, clear sentences.
Yes, you can say, I'm working on myself, or I'm learning to stay calm. These are everyday mindset sentences that fit naturally into conversation.
So next time someone asks you, how are you? You can go a little deeper. You can say, I'm okay, I'm trying to stay positive, or it's a busy week, but I'm managing.
That's real English. It connects language with life. And when your language reflects your real thoughts, it becomes easier and more meaningful.
Because in the end, simple English can express very deep ideas, and mindset is one of those ideas.
Now I want to talk about something very personal and very powerful. It's not what other people say to you, it's what you say to yourself. That quiet voice in your head is called self-talk, and it affects your English more than you think.
Yes, because even if nobody criticizes you, you might criticize yourself. And sometimes we are much harder on ourselves than anyone else would ever be.
Let's look at some common negative self-talk sentences. For example, I'm bad at English. That sentence feels heavy and final. It doesn't leave space for growth.
Another one I hear often is, I'm slow. Learners say it when they can't answer quickly or when they need time to think. But slow doesn't always mean bad.
Exactly. So let's upgrade these sentences. Instead of I'm bad, you can say I'm still learning. That one small word, still, changes everything.
And instead of I'm slow, you can say I'm careful. That sounds completely different. Careful is positive. It means you think before you speak.
I want to share something personal. A few years ago, I compared myself to other English teachers online. I saw their confidence, their fluency, their large audiences, and I felt small.
That must have been difficult. What were you telling yourself during that time?
I was thinking, I'm not good enough, and I'll never reach that level. And those sentences made me nervous, even when I was speaking normally.
So what changed?
I changed my self-talk. Instead of comparing myself, I started saying, I focus on my own journey. That sentence gave me peace. It reminded me that growth is personal.
Comparison is a big trap, especially today with social media. You see someone speaking perfectly and you think, why not me? But you don't see their years of practice.
Yes, and when you compare too much, your mindset becomes weaker. But when you say, I focus on my own progress, your voice becomes steadier.
This is the key insight here. The sentences in your head shape your voice. If your inner voice is negative, your real voice becomes quiet and tense.
But if your inner voice is supportive, your real voice becomes calmer. You speak with more freedom, even if your grammar is not perfect.
So today, Pay attention to your self-talk. When you make a mistake, what do you say inside your head?
And if that sentence is harsh, gently change it. You don't need to lie to yourself. Just choose something balanced and kind.
Because in the end, English is not only about words you say to others, it's also about the words you say to yourself.
Now let's connect mindset directly to speaking, because this is where many learners struggle the most. You can understand English very well, but when it's time to speak, fear suddenly appears. And that fear blocks fluency more than grammar ever does.
Yes, fear makes your mind blank. Your heart beats faster, your shoulders become tense, and simple words disappear. It's not because you don't know English. It's because your mindset is in panic mode.
And perfectionism makes it worse. Many learners think, I must speak perfectly. But when you try to be perfect, you slow down too much. You overthink every sentence, and your rhythm disappears.
Exactly. Fluency needs flow, not perfection. So let's build a confidence mindset for speaking using simple, strong sentences. For example, I speak even when I'm nervous. That sentence gives you permission to try.
I love that one. Another powerful sentence is, I trust the process. Learning English takes time, and you won't see progress every day. But if you trust the process, you stay calm and consistent.
One method that helped me a lot was talking to myself in English. I would ask simple questions like, how was my day? And answer them out loud. It felt strange at first, but it removed pressure because no one was judging me.
That's such a useful habit. When you practice alone, your brain learns to form sentences without fear. You train your voice to move, even if it's not perfect.
And here's something deeper. Confidence is not only about practice, it's about identity. If you say, I can't speak English, your brain believes it. But if you say, I am becoming an English speaker, your identity changes.
Yes, identity shift is powerful. You're no longer someone who is bad at English. You are someone in progress. That small change affects how you show up in conversations.
When your mindset is calm, your voice becomes clearer. You speak slower, but more naturally. You don't rush. You don't panic after small mistakes.
And that's the insight for today. Calm mindset equals clearer voice. You don't need bigger vocabulary to sound confident. You need kinder thoughts.
So next time you feel nervous before speaking, try saying this quietly in your mind. It's okay. I'm learning. I can do this. That moment of calm can change your entire conversation.
Because confidence in English doesn't start with grammar books. It starts in your mindset. And when your mindset grows stronger, your English naturally follows.
Before we finish today, let's pause for a moment and reflect on what we talked about. Mindset is your inner voice. It is the quiet conversation you have with yourself every day.
And we learned something important. Language reflects thought. The way you think about your English changes the way you speak it.
We talked about growth mindset sentences like, my English is improving, mistakes help me learn, and I'm still learning. These are not just grammar sentences, they are confident sentences.
Yes, and we also explored how negative self-talk can slow you down. But when you change your inner words, your real voice becomes calmer and stronger. So now we want to ask you a gentle question. What mindset sentence do you want to live by? Maybe it's, I don't give up easily. Maybe it's, I trust the process. Or maybe it's, I am becoming more confident.
Choose one sentence that feels real to you, not perfect, not dramatic, just honest and supportive.
If you'd like to practice, write that mindset sentence in the comments. Keep it simple. One sentence that represents your growth mindset.
And if you have ever doubted yourself while learning English, know that you're not alone. Almost every learner has that moment.
If this episode helped you feel calmer or more hopeful, please give this video a like. It helps us know that these real-life conversations are meaningful for you.
And don't forget to subscribe to EasyTalk English if you want to continue practicing real-life English with calm confidence. We're here to grow step by step together.
Your English journey is not about perfection. It's about progress, patience, and belief.
Keep learning, keep speaking, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself. We'll see you in the next episode.